Hi guys, my name is Ed and welcome to another collection video. I put out a poll where you could vote on my YouTube page, the community tab thing, asking, hey, which is the next console you want me to do a full show and tell of my old collection? And yeah, the SNES won. There was also a lot of interest in doing a toy line, so if you want to specify down below in the comments which toy line I should do a next collection video about, I'll get to that. So yeah, leave it down in the comments below. But today we're talking about this system right here, the Super Nintendo. I gotta say guys, I love this little system right here. So the story goes that it was released in Japan in 1990, went over to America in 91, and in 92 it got to Europe. So yeah, we had to wait 2 years for this freaking system. It sold about 49 million units worldwide. It is the 4th generation of gaming, retro gaming, whatever. 4th generation, a 16-bit system, and just awesomeness. Now, the Super Nintendo definitely was successful. It was more successful in North America than it was in Europe. In Europe, you already had a ton of people playing the Mega Drive, a ton of people already, you know, waiting to get a PlayStation or an N64 because it wasn't too far apart. We got the system 2 years later. That's what you need to take in account when we're looking at this collection. Now, I do have Japanese carts, I have NTSC carts, I have PAL carts. I just pile together everything I can find to get those games as cheap as possible. Usually, apart from RPGs, I don't mind if they're, you know, in French or if they're in Japanese because, you know, for a beat 'em up, who cares, really? So yeah, let's take a look at the console. So this is basically the box. You would get your, you know, main control set in. Looking pretty neat. This doesn't look like the first drafts of the system, and it definitely doesn't look like the NTSC system. The NTSC system looks so weird to me. It's like, what is that? Is that a Super Nintendo, really? Because I'm used to this. Like, the exact same model as a Super Famicom is what we got in the PAL regions. But yeah, over here, you know, nothing too exciting. There are a couple of really cool boxes like the Street Fighter ones. The Star Fox one is also a cool pack-in box that you can get. And yeah, on the back we can already see a couple of games that, you know, you would want to get over here. You got, of course, The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario World, Super Tennis, Super Ghouls'n Ghosts, SimCity, Super R-Type. You know, for every type of genre of gaming there was a game available for the system when it got popped out on the European markets. Over here on the side you even have some commercial, some ads for, you know, Mario Paint and stuff like that. And on the other side you got some stuff about the Super Scope. So that's pretty darn neat. Let me just pop that over there. Now, not only Nintendo games made this system sell a lot, there was a lot of success coming over from third-party developers that really helped sell the system as well. You had Konami, you had Capcom, you had Squaresoft doing just a ton of RPGs. And, you know, we'll get to those games. But first off, what were the best sellers for the system? Now, here are some of the system's best sellers. Most of these games were packing games, you know, like Super Mario World. You would get that with every system. You could get the Mario All-Stars pack-in game. That was super sweet back in the day. Mario Kart, also a pack-in with the console, and Donkey Kong Country. Those were the games that really sold a lot. Now, I didn't get a Super Nintendo system for my birthday, the year I wanted to get, you know, a new Nintendo system. I got an N64 when it came out. I think like that month is when it came out. So I've always been like, oh, I wanted to get a Super Nintendo because I did play it a lot. So I do have a couple games I did play back in the day. Of course, I played all of the Donkey Kong series, you know, Donkey Kong 2, Donkey Kong 3, where, you know, Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong come into the picture. Those games were freaking amazing. Those games were freaking amazing. I played Mario All-Stars to death. Even Lost Levels. Lost Levels was so strange to me. Like, what is this? Why is this so freaking difficult? But yeah, then later you find out, well, that was originally Super Mario Bros. 2, and, you know, Super Mario Bros. 2 is actually Okie Dokie Panic or something like that. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, was, again, like one of those things like Wario Land, where it's Super Mario Land 3, but no, it's not the same type of game. This shouldn't be called Super Mario World 2, but they probably did it to sell a lot of units. The baby is annoying, but I actually did enjoy playing this game a lot. And you have Yoshi in it too, so yeah. Baby Mario going up on top here. I played that. Another thing that I thought was so freaking cool was the Super Game Boy add-on thing. Basically what you got was a cartridge in which you could pop in your Game Boy cartridges too, and you could play them on the big screen. And sometimes you would get, you know, a cart that was enhanced to play on the Super Game Boy, and it would have extra colors, extra palettes, like, you know, background stuff and all that. It would be amazing. So this was definitely so freaking cool that you could take your handheld game and play it, you know, when you were home on the TV. Now, I know you probably saw behind me there's a lot of box games. Okay, so how did Super Nintendo collecting start for me? At first, this was one of the systems I immediately started collecting for. I didn't even have a system, but I was out at flea markets, I was looking for games, and this is probably like one of my favorite scores I ever did. I went over to a flea market. This was probably the second or third time I went out to go and find games. So we're talking about 12 years ago, 13 years maybe. I had like a year. I was like, am I really gonna start collecting this? This is kind of weird. But yeah, I went over to a flea market, and this guy selling antique closets and stuff, he had this line up on top of one of his cupboards or something like that. And I was like, how much are these games? And the lady goes, oh, those are like, you know, 50 cents a piece. And I'm like, all right, I'll get those. And in comes the guy, and he's like, no, that's way too cheap. You're trying to sell them way too cheap. I want €1 for this, like $1 back in the day. I want $1 each. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. Take my money. Like, so that's when I got Street Fighter 2 Turbo. A game, when I got the system, I tried out and it was way too difficult for me. And Double Dragon, The Shadow Falls, I always forget to check the name. Double Dragon, The Shadow Falls, which is basically also a fighting game. Very popular during the 16-bit era, these fighting games. So yeah, those two started my Super Nintendo collection as a retro gamer. And those were the first two I ever got. And then we can get into some of my favorite games for the system. Of course, I've been collecting this one for the past 10 years, so I have a couple of them boxed that I really wanted to show you guys. Of course, you had a lot of series just, you know, hopping over into the Super Nintendo, like Mega Man X. So yeah, that's a great game. Had to get that one. You, of course, had the first incarnation of Star Fox. I didn't play it back in the day, and to be perfectly honest, it doesn't have a connection with me. I think it looks kind of weird. It's not a good game in my opinion. The N64 version is way better, but I had to get this one complete in box just because. One of the games I paid a lot for when I was starting out as a retro game collector. I went over to a convention. I paid 50 euros for a loose card Zelda, A Link to the Past. That was like, you know, you would go to any store and you could get it for 50 euros. So I was like, I really want to play this game, and I played the game and finished it, and it was freaking awesome. I never played this back in the day, and I wish some of my friends had this one because it's such a freaking good game. Definitely one of the top 10 games out there for the Super Nintendo. So yeah, pop you right there. You know, you had the trilogy of Castlevania over on the NES, and over here we got Castlevania 4, a freaking awesome game. Just, you know, the Mode 7 stuff going on in here where you can throw your whip and, you know, turn around and all that stuff. Awesome game. Still looking for the other one, Vampire's Kiss, or Dracula X as it's called in the USA. And yeah, fighting games. Killer Instinct, also a game I had on the N64, so I need to get the Super Nintendo one where, you know, it all started. This is a game I got multiple copies of during my collecting, and I decided to stick with the PAL version that I now have complete in box. Secret of Evermore, one of many RPGs put out by Squaresoft for the Super Nintendo. Alright, yeah, and the next couple ones, this was one I bought over at, you know, the secondhand online thing where you could bid for stuff, and I think I got this for like 15 euros or something. It is the NTSC version of Aliens vs. Predator. One of my favorite genres on the system is beat 'em ups, and this is one, it's not as good as the arcade version, but just look at the freaking box art. This thing is amazing. This I got over at a Antwerp Comic-Con or Antwerp convention thing. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, also the NTSC version. But you know, it was cool. It looked cool, so I had to get it. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, one of the games that's on the box. Needed to get this one. Of course, it's the sequel to Ghosts and Goblins on the NES, and it's a fun game. It's actually not as difficult, at least to me, as the NTSC. It's not as difficult as the NES one. Disney also had a lot of good games. Of course, with Disney, you always had the Mega Drive or the Genesis counterpart. This one, you're throwing with apples. In the Genesis version, you're throwing with knives and stuff like that. So I'd say like Aladdin was very good. You also had stuff like Goof Troop, a very cool co-op player type of game. But you know, Lion King, stay away from that one. That one wasn't very good. You also had Zombies, which was another, you know, horror kind of type of game. Very fun. It's also had a sequel called Ghoul Patrol, and yeah, love this. This is also 2-player, and you know, it's fun. It's fun, you know, walking and killing zombies and moving away from them and stuff. Alright guys, time for a turtle break. These are my turtle games on the system. I had to get both versions. I had to get the NTSC version and the PAL version of Turtles in Time. And, well, I also got the Japanese version of Turtles in Time over here. Yeah, still looking to get this one boxed. This is a freaking awesome game. It's definitely in my top 3 of the Super Nintendo. It's a beat 'em up. If you haven't played it yet, it isn't too difficult, and it's very fun. It's like probably like one of the best games ever made. It's got turtles. Maybe I'm looking at it with some turtle nostalgic glasses. The other game for Turtles on the SNES was Turtles Tournament Fighters, another fighting game, I know. And I had to get the Japanese counterpart to that too. Over here, it's called Mutant Warriors. It has a pretty cool cover. And yeah, it's fun. It's good fun. It's good fun. So yeah, that's like the little turtle break I had to take and show you guys. Now, As far as getting one of these games in the box or loose, I don't really care. I already have the ones I wanted in box now. It just depends on what you come across, and if it's at a good price, I'll pick it up in box. Otherwise, I'll, you know, wait it out and see what is the best price I can get it for, and that's the next thing we're gonna take a look at. We're taking a look at some of the NTSC games I have, and some of the PAL games, some of the Japanese ones. So yeah, here are another couple of the Japanese ones I did get. I got Rockman 7, which is Mega Man 7, a very expensive game usually, but you know, this was like way cheaper. I also got the Rockman X2, and I have Rockman Soccer. So yeah, if I had to get these games in the PAL or in the NTSC version, it would have cost like double of what I paid for the three together already. So yeah, if I do come across them in the original versions, I will probably pick them up if they're at a good price. But for now, I'm really glad having these, because you know, you don't need to be able to understand what's happening to, you know, play these games. Another thing that got started on the SNES is the Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Now this is a collaboration of Nintendo together with Squaresoft, and it's a fun game. It started, you know, the Paper Mario series and stuff like that. So this was one of the games I was looking for. I found it online on secondhand. I placed my bid because back in the day you could still find stuff over there. Now there's just people bidding ridiculous amounts, and I think I got this for like half the price of what it goes for in the USA. Because, you know, the guy was like, yeah, I can't get it to work well. No, it has like an extra lockout chip to play it on PAL, so you really need to get it with one of the NTSC systems to make it work. And luckily I knew that, and that's how I got it cheap. And like I said, we were gonna get into some of the RPGs. Most of these were, you know, put out by Squaresoft. You got your Final Fantasy 3, you got stuff like ActRaiser, you got Breath of Fire 1 and 2. This Breath of Fire 2 is one I was glad to find this year. This one I had for the longest time, and it just seems to me that, you know, the NTSC versions of these RPGs, they sold a lot more because they're a bit cheaper than getting the PAL versions, and that's why I just keep going for those. Got Final Fantasy 2 right here, Final Fantasy 3, great games, awesome. Definitely, if you played Zelda on the system, it was like, I want more games like that, and they didn't put out a second Zelda on it. They did put out other cool RPGs by Squaresoft, but yeah, Nintendo just stuck with that, and that I think probably opened up the market for a lot of RPGs on the system. Then I got some more stuff like the Contra 3, also again a game that was very popular on the NES. They had to make a sequel for the SNES, and that's Contra 3. The Konami code doesn't work on here, but yeah, still a very fun game to play. Yeah, Konami, Capcom, stuff like that. If you see that on an SNES cart, you know it's going to be pretty darn good. Now, these next two are ones from are two games I really wanted to get because NES Pursuit, Retro Liberty were always like all over these games. Kings of Dragons, Knights of the Round, Ricky was always after these, and I actually found them at a very affordable price. Again, the NTSC versions, because they're just a bit cheaper. Two very good beat 'em up games in the medieval team. You also have like Marvel Superheroes, War of the Gems. There's a lot of superhero team stuff on here that's, you know, there's a lot of superhero team stuff, or, you know, cartoon stuff like Pirates of Blackwater that gotta beat 'em up. And, you know, the Final Fight series. Got Final Fight 1 here, Final Fight 2. And, yeah. Those are, you know, just a couple of games that I had to get the NTSC versions of because they were just a bit cheaper. Now the SNES is also the only system I really get repros for because, well, like I said, Zelda didn't get another game, but they did get a lot of cool ROM hacks for Zelda Link of the Past. So over here we have The Legend of Zelda Goddess of Wisdom, and I also have Legend of Zelda Parallel Worlds, so I had to get these two in a physical cart so I can play them on the systems. And one game that didn't get a release in North America nor in the PAL regions is Secret of Mana 2. Now, there's like a whole name thing around it. I don't know the whole story about it, but we didn't get this one. It's English translated from the game. It's got a patch on it. You plug it into your system and you get to play Secret of Mana 2. Now we're gonna take a look at some of the most expensive games I have in my collection, and we're gonna take a look at some of the accessories I have, some of the, you know, cool stuff, and some of the handheld SNES products that came out later when retro gaming really took a step forward and everybody started getting into it. So yeah, let's take a look at these expensive games, or, well, you know, more rare games. I don't think Chrono Trigger is that rare because everyone I know pretty much has a copy, but it is such a freaking amazing game. You really need to play it if you haven't already. Another game I was really hunting for right away from the start is Demon's Crest. Also one of the games that, you know, Retro Liberty was after, Ricky was after with Retro Liberty. I think he found it like twice, and you know, that just triggered me. I need to get this one too. This is the PAL version. Found it for a very affordable price over at Game Walhalla. I think I traded in like a bunch of stuff for this one, but I was very happy getting this because, you know, when you trade in stuff over at a store, you usually don't put in the same amount as what they're asking for it. But yeah, I basically had so many doubles, I just, you know, gave him what he wanted for it and got this one, was very happy, and I think I paid like 20 euros in what I spent on those games I got for this. The game isn't the best. In my opinion, it could be a lot better, but it's got a really cool atmosphere. It looks freaking cool. Of course, it's you know, Brandon, the devil type of guy from Ghouls'n Goblins, so had to get that one. Another beat 'em up game is Sailor Moon. So yeah, this one's Sailor Moon for the SNES. It's one of the cartoon shows. Every freaking cartoon show got a beat 'em up, even if it was directed for girls that like to change into teenage cats or something like that. I actually, not a bad game, so check it out. Now this one is a PAL exclusive. This one is called Terranigma. It is the third one, I think, in the series, although like the series of Secret of Mana and all that stuff, it's kind of confusing. I'm not gonna get into it. It's one of the games. It only came out PAL, and it only came out PAL. Maybe it did come out in Japan, probably did. Everything comes out in Japan mostly, but this one is one you're not going to find NTSC. It is a very good game though, so this one is definitely one of the more rare games I have in my collection. Then, you know, a classic, Sunset Riders, one of the Western, you know, run and gun type of games like Contra. There's also Wild Guns, which I'm still looking for. I need to get that one still, but I already have. To Super Turrican, which is kind of like Metroid. I haven't talked about Super Metroid. Super Metroid is freaking amazing on the SNES. Of course, I have that one. Don't have it boxed, but that's one of the games I really want to get boxed. There is a big box version. The PAL version has a big box, so yeah. But Super Turrican, really cool. If you're into Super Metroid, check this one out. It also has a sequel, so yeah, take a look at that. The last game over here in this kind of shiny casey thingy is the PAL version of Agane. It didn't get like blazing reviews when it came out back in the day, but people seem to like it. People seem to think it was a blockbuster excuse me. People seem to think it was a blockbuster exclusive, but I don't know, man. It's just a harder to find game. It didn't sell a lot. It's very dark to see what's happening on the screen. It's pretty darn difficult, but once you get a hang of it, it's pretty darn cool. There's a lot of cool extra stuff you can do. Upgrades, you know, power-ups and upgrades are pretty cool in the game. So yeah, check it out, and put this one in a little dust cover just in case something would happen to it. Most of these I did pick up on camera, so if you want to check out my hunting videos, feel free to, and you know, check out how I got most of these games. Then we're going to talk a bit more about some of the accessories I already explained about the Super Game Boy, but yeah, here you have it, how it looks. You just pop in a cartridge, you plug it into the system, and you get to play your Game Boy games. The game Genie also made its appearance for the Super Nintendo, so yeah, here's the game Genie for the Super Nintendo. I've never used it, but I don't know, I bought it so long ago, and I just keep it in the collection, really. Another game that was only released for the Super Nintendo, we didn't really get an upgrade on the Wii for this type of game, is Mario Paint. Now this came with a mouse pad and a mouse, and you could draw stuff. It's not so comfortable as an adult to play with this thing, but yeah, got it in the big box. It looks pretty darn cool. Now one of the things, in my opinion, that didn't really do too well, and that's probably why you can find most of these for, like, you know, 15 euros over at a flea market. This one is definitely sun faded, I know that, but it's a complete Super Scope. And yeah, this basically replaced the NES's Zapper Gun, because on the SNES you had the Super Scope, you had like a freaking bazooka. Alright guys, and now we're gonna get into a little bit of merchandising. So yeah, we got, this thing is for later. We got two of these cases. One is Donkey Kong Country related. As you can see, this is a carrying case for your favorite SNES games back in the day. And I also have the 44, that's, you know, the brand that makes these, just a regular Super Nintendo carrying case. And these are actually still full, so these are probably the games that I usually go to. My SNES is always hooked up because it's the favorite system to play. It's my favorite system to play, and I'm not kidding with you guys. So let's take a look inside what we have over here. Let's first open up this Super Nintendo one. And yeah, okay, we got Phantom 2040 in here, Captain America, The Dead and Return of Superman. I didn't realize I had that one. Illusion of Time is the same thing as Illusion of Gaia. So yeah, an RPG. The Adventures of Batman and Robin. We got Turtles in Time. Then we got Sparkster. Pretty cool game. We got my Killer Instinct in there. Yeah, that's why the box was not full. And we got Biker Mice from Mars. So yeah, sometimes you would get like people trying to copy, you know, Mario Kart. Biker Mice was a good attempt, but it's not the best game, but it is still cool that we got a game for this cartoon series because I love it. Yeah, you shoot with bullets and, you know, you try to beat the race. So yeah, these are actually some of the games I play a lot. Then let's take a look at the Donkey Kong case thing. Alright, so in here we got Maximum Carnage, we got the Super Mario All-Stars and Super Mario World Duel card. We got Wario Witch. We got Wario Woods. No, we have Wario's Woods, actually. And yeah, that's just a very fun, puzzling game. You can play two-player. Jeff, he usually beats me at it. We got Super R-Type because, you know, there's a lot of good shooters on there. I don't have a lot of good shooters. That is probably something I still need to look into. I have around 380 SNES games if I put everything together, NTSC, NTSC, PAL, and the Japanese ones. Apart from the Turtle ones, I don't have any double copies. I don't have the NTSC version and the PAL version, so those are individual. Then we got Super Mario World 2, we got Super Punch-Out, we got the Super Probotector Alien Rebels, which is basically the European variant of Contra 3. So yeah, there might be a couple more variants in there, but this is also a sprite swapped variant, so you're playing with a different character. Then we got Battletoads Double Dragon, yeah, and Donkey Kong Country 2, because that's my favorite Donkey Kong Country game. Yeah. So these are two very fun things to have, of course. These carrying cases, they're fun to put. They're really fun to pop up on a shelf. And then this little thing over here, This is freaking cool because I was over at a flea market checking out pins because, you know, I'm always trying to find turtle pins that I want to add to my collection, and all of a sudden I opened up this and this guy just had so many Mario type of pins, but the thing is they were so cheap. It was like just plastic and you have the pin over there. But then I checked it out and it's 1993 Nintendo, so it's actual Nintendo product, and you can definitely see that this is from around the time that the Super Nintendo came out. You got the Mario Kart figurines, but you also have a lot of Super Mario Land 2 stuff in there, like the Space Astronaut, Mario, yeah, just all the cool characters are in there. And I don't know if it's a full set, but these are all 1993 Nintendo pins. And yeah, I think I paid €8 for all of them. They're in pretty good condition, so I'm pretty glad about that. And next up, this might look kind of weird, but to me it's already kind of nostalgic, really. These are basically handheld 16-bit SNES playable consoles. You know, you would be able to, you know, plug your game in on top. You could play NTSC games, you can play PAL games, and you could also hook it up to the TV. Now, the first one I got, thanks to my friend Sam, is this regular Superboy. So I think this is the first. No, this is the first version. Sorry, guys. So this is the first version of it. You could play a lot of it. You could actually plug in an actual controller into this thing and play it on the TV, or just play it on this system with 2 players. So yeah, I got Run Saber in here. Pretty cool action platformer game. But yeah, Hyperkin put these out. Then a bit later, they put out the second edition, which you can still buy right now. It's got a better screen, some better battery life. I think this thing would last like 4 hours or something. This one a bit more. But you also had the Retro Duo Portable by Retrobit. Now this one you could also expand and, you know, put an add-on on top of it. It actually came with one add-on which allows you to play NES games. It actually came with an add-on which allows you to play NES games. You could get one for Genesis, you could get one for like Game Boy Advance. I don't know why you would want to do that. But yeah, this was pretty cool. I took it along on lots of road trips with the band, and you know, wanting to play stuff. So yeah, this is already getting kind of nostalgic because I think I bought this like almost 8 or 10 years ago already, one of these, and I still play these. You know, I still use these to just check out, hey, does this game work? Or if I just want to play it, this one game quick for 10 minutes. I usually go for 16-bit games anyways. This is the perfect solution for me. Just hop into the couch, pop it on, play it for a little bit, and, you know, just hang. So yeah, this was like sold commercially at like fashion stores and stuff where you could buy like jeans and t-shirts, the Superboy. So that was kind of weird to me. They would also have like the Atari flashbacks and stuff like that. But yeah, these are the you know, retro gaming. These are like the retro gaming bubble products that really, you know, spiked up and you know, allowed you to relive those games from back in the day. You could pop your original cartridge in there. Pretty good. I actually like these systems and I wanted to pop them in with this collection video. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little collection video right here, and I will see you in the next video. Please leave down in the comments below what other gaming collection or toy collection you want to see next, and I will see you when I see you. Alright, have a great week or weekend, and see you later, guys. Bye.